Hello, and welcome to whatever this is. I don't really know. I don't have a name for it. It's me sitting up at 3 a.m. in my underwear talking into my headset by myself. Don't really know how I got to this point, but I've been wanting to record a video like this for a while. Something more personal, like a more personal commentary. But I've never really known what to talk about, to be honest. Like, what do you do for your first one of these? I've just not known, and I still kind of don't know. Um, this is not my first take. Let me tell you, this is a weird one out of my comfort zone. But yeah, I don't know. I think what I've liked about creators that I've followed in the past, who have like gaming creators especially, is that what will bring me to the channel in the first place will be gameplay related, but then as you as I kind of get to know them as a person, that's what I think keeps me interested long term. And so I've really always admired the more like personal commentaries and stories and yeah, just stuff like that. Um, so I don't know if that's like the longest intro to anything anyone's ever done. It was like a minute and a half of just absolute shit. Um, Anyways, I should probably think of something to talk about. I mean, I think for the first one, maybe something like, you know, Dead by Daylight related, because that's obviously what my channel is based on at this point. Um, but still kind of personal to me. Maybe like some opinions or personal, I don't know, thoughts or stories or something like that. I actually rage quit a game as killer the other night, and that's really not like me. I think rage quitting is just like the biggest like baby rage move. It's I think like there's just no matter like how bad it gets, like there's just really no need for it. But I still did it, and it it was just sort of like a slow build up of just like I don't even know what led to it or what caused it. But I was just so agitated. Like I was just playing poorly too. Like it wasn't like they were good survivors, and it was a less than favorable map for the killer I was playing, I guess. But that's the game's random, so it doesn't really matter if you get a good or a bad map, so to speak. Like anything can happen, good or bad survivors. Like it's all just like I mean the maps are literally randomly generated. Like the outcome is pretty randomly generated too, I think. Um, which I think leads into something I've thought about for a while, and that is that like I feel like I take this game way too seriously sometimes. Like I try not to on the outside or to other people, but I think internally sometimes I don't know. It's just sometimes it's hard not to take things just a little bit personally for me. I think sometimes when you just get absolutely shit on as killer, or like a survivor just runs you around for a whole bunch of gens, you get gen rushed and stuff like that. Like it's I don't know. Like I was thinking about when like if you're like getting teabagged or like BM'd or whatever, it really doesn't actually like bother me genuinely. I usually just think it's funny, and it is what it is. Just if you're the killer and they're a survivor, like you're gonna catch them eventually, right? Like probably if you're skilled enough, you you know you have a weapon and they don't. Like you're in the position of power in the 1v1 sense. Um, but that that is exactly where I think the agitation stems from sometimes, is this like idea of like one player like having uh, a certain power or expectation on them based on the power they have to perform a certain way. Like I think what happens in my head which I'm not. This is not something that I. This is not the hill I want to die on. This is not some like stuff that I'm proudly saying is true. It's me thinking out loud about myself, sort of reflecting, and borderline embarrassed, really, that I just don't want to have a really shit game, and then have, my name in the leaderboards at the end of that game being judged by the survivors, like thinking, like, oh well, like just thinking that I played shit, or like if they know me and I've had a really bad game, for the most part, people are way nicer than you are in your own head, right? That's the crazy thing. It's like, I don't think people actually think this stuff, but in the moment, when I'm autistically getting annoyed, this is the stuff that goes through my head, right? Of like, I'm like, it's meant to go a certain way, and I'm either gonna pass or fail. Like, for instance, like the hatchet either hits or misses. You know what I mean? Or like when it comes down to the skill of ending chases, in the 4v1 sense, you're sort of destined to lose if everything goes according to the survivor's plans. But you do catch people sooner or later, and it's it can be really weirdly upsetting sucking at this game in particular. Like, I've never really been bothered. I think part of what annoys me so much is just the way that the game is kind of inherently shit. Like, at least the version that we play, like, you can lose a game because, like, oh, it's not even about losing the game. It's moment to moment shit. Because losing the game doesn't really bother me that much. It's moments of me judging myself. But sometimes when they happen, it's completely unfair of me to be judging myself too harshly, because it's like, it's the game fucking you at a certain point. Like, there was that update not too long ago from when this was recorded, that people just like were losing survivors mid-chase, and like aim assist was fucky, and people were whiffing, and like you get to the end of the game and it's like people who you've seen hit people successfully a million times who just wouldn't whiff, and there's just something weird about the game, right? And at that point, it's like, I think what bothers me sometimes is thinking, the survivors don't actually understand my experience that I'm having right now. And that, for some reason, like I used the word autistically earlier, sort of jokingly, it's like, it somehow bothers me. I don't know that there is a lack of empathy, but there's sort of a perceived lack of empathy, and that's enough. It's like, I can't communicate how, like, what I was like trying to do, and like I fucked it up or something. Like, I don't know. It's like this weird defensiveness against these judgments that aren't even really actually verbally taking place. There's, aside from, like, even down to teabags and flashlight clicks, like, I don't know, who gives a shit about that? Like, I mean, even like this whole community aspect, I think, is what bothers me too, is that everyone fucking knows everyone, and there's this I have this thing in my head where I'm like, yeah, people know of me, like, not personally necessarily, but they know that I've been playing forever, and that I'm I'm a killer who sort of, like, knows the game in and out, and can skillfully end chases in the 1v1 sense most of the time, but like whenever they're due to end, right? But it's there's all this weird expectation of like, because I don't really judge people. Like, there's videos of me laughing my ass off at killers making slight mistakes, right? But I'm not doing it to their face. And if a survivor's laughing at me doing some dumb shit, it's probably stuff that I should be laughing at too, if I'm in a good mood. Like, maybe it's just a mood thing. This has been the most, like, segmented, scattered commentary of my entire life, and it's also been my first one, which is probably why. So it's kind of hard to, I have nothing to compare it to. it hasn't gone quite the way that I would have liked. It's me rambling. It's like my raw thoughts. Maybe in the future I should plan out what I would like to talk about and go into, maybe write some stuff down, take some notes, and have some dot points to hit. Who knows? Maybe actually do some real public speaking, instead of just me. I mean, look, this is a pretty shoddy operation. Like I said, underwear, 3 a.m. Like, I don't know who the fuck's even watching this all the way through. So, I don't know. I'm cool with this one being shitty. I've talked about just what it's like been playing Killer recently, and in general, and yeah, some weird shit's come up, but I don't know. I mean, we keep playing it. I'm still playing, so regardless of how irritated I might get from time to time, or how much I might judge myself for making mistakes, it's, I don't know, it should just be a fun game that's not to be taken too seriously. It's just, I want to play for just funny moments, and the game's addicting to the point where I play beyond when I actually feel like playing sometimes. It happens. Anyways, that's gonna do it. Yeah, cool. I don't really know how to bye, I guess. Love you.